All right. Oh, my mic's all the way over here. It'd probably be prudent to bring it where it can hear me. That would make more sense. Don't you think? All right, let's try to... Hey, there's Dom. Hey, brother. Good to see you. Good morning, Sovereign. Yeah, people are starting to flow right in. Well, that's cool. If you all are so inclined and you feel like sharing, feel so free to so do. Let's see here. And thanks for the like button smash. That's awesome. That's a good thing. Jeez, it's 3 of you now. Yeah, you're more than welcome for that, Dom. Absolutely. I'll look at y'all sharing stuff for me. Yeah, today's been a little bit of a weird morning. Try to get things going. Yeah, Honky mentioned that was going on, and I definitely knew that I don't have the time or inclination to devote to a fantasy football league, as fun as that probably sounds. But probably not as much to me as it would to somebody else who like watches football regularly and all that. I can sit down and watch a game once in a while for a little bit, but I'm certainly not what one would call an aficionado of le football. And my uncle tried to help make me that when I was younger. He definitely tried to help me. Hey, there's Steve and Shayla. Good morning. Yeah, my uncle tried to help me develop an interest in football when I was a youngster. And he definitely tried to get me on board the Dallas Cowboys because they all lived in Texas. Still do. Yeah, never really stuck. Wasn't my thing. Chunk. Eyeing my breakfast over here. Yeah. So, good morning to all of you. Finally ironed out some technical things and tried to get this running here on the laptop. Yesterday's episode I did from my phone, and I had so many of those like interruptions because I think somebody actually tried to call me. It was like a sales call, and I thought I had the do not disturb thing on. I was wrong. I really got to just get in the habit of doing it on my laptop and not on the phone. Let's see here. I'm just clearing something. What was there's pants. There's pants. I'm wearing pants. I proved it. You're safe. There was a discussion for those of you that weren't in the chat earlier in the Hangouts. I was having some technical difficulties getting going this morning. Steve. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past you. I mean, come on. Charging $5 to watch. Alex Jones does that, right? He rips his shirt off. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get this laptop steady. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Blueberries and yogurt with just a little bit of honey. Massively good. Andrew J. And we got Steve Pender and we get the Dom Tough. There are like 7 people in this chat room. I mean, some people who aren't logged or YouTube. Oh, Sovereign, yeah. I didn't see you. Lurkers. Kick is here. That's cool. That's awesome. Oh, goodness. Man. Well, I am... I've been musing a little bit, as I said, on the entire Svengate issue. Some of you may have seen last night that I threw up a picture into the Hangouts of something that I noticed in one of the most recent clips that was released from the Crowdmeister. Oh, wait, that's not what I want to show you. That's what I want to show you. So, yeah, some of y'all seen it. It was of interest. And I said, I didn't throw this one up. This was my first idea. And I thought this would still be a funny one, but if Sam was fired, why do I still have his button? Why did that happen? Right? I can't even see what I'm showing you. Yes. It's right there. There's a wire and everything. It's hard to see on this camera, but it's totally there. And so I just thought it'd be funnier with this picture. Is that reversed to you guys? It should be forward. Maybe it's reversed during the stream, but it should flip it when we're done. Just thinking. Just thinking. Oh, he uses the button for Garrett and for Brodigan. I didn't think he needed to. I thought that Garrett was now fully in control of the board. It could be the case. I don't know. As I thought about it more, I saw the button thing and I thought something's fishy here. Something's really weird. And maybe, hey, the best answers. I'm going to give you a little wrench action here. Yeah. I saw this business going on. And I with the button still being there, and I thought, and I saw everything else. I've watched some other video about people trying to a video that was trying to go through like some of the different timeline. Hey, the best answers. Welcome to Wrench Life. Glad you're here. Yeah, I was just curious as to what might really be happening, and I'm thinking I've leaned more toward the theory that maybe Sven is set aside for some kind of a mission. You know, that could be going on. But the after watching like the end of the last couple of episodes of the Thursday show, yeah, he kind of did take the minds and hearts kicking. You're right. I don't know. It's just something that's perplexed me because it's just so odd. It was just such a weird timing, especially since Jared and most people aren't aware of this, but Aaron the intern also left at that same time. So yeah, Aaron, I don't have 1,000 subscribers. So if you did, that's very awesome of you. Trying to log into my thing. Oh, don't do that. No, wait. Just do this. Change. I don't. Yeah, hang on. Hang on a second, guys. I was going to say, for those of you I hadn't said it to, got a cool support there from Kikia because she asked me to listen to this Infected Mushroom song, and I really like it. So if you want, I was going to say it should be in the comment section of yesterday's video, but that hasn't posted yet. It's still like trying to process in my phone, and I don't know why. Let's see here. I'm going to see this chat exploded with all kinds of stuff here in a moment. Let's see. I want to read super chat PayPal things when people send them because it's my way of saying thank you. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay, so Inspector Bear. You super chatted me. Let's see, to ask what happened to Sven. Oh, you super chatted Steven. Okay, I thought you were talking to me. I misunderstood. That's funny. No, you don't have to do that, man. I appreciate that. If you do, you're welcome to. Yeah, I thought you were saying you sent me something. I misunderstood you. You were saying you sent something to Steven to ask about that. And I'm very curious about that. You don't have to send me stuff now. I'm not going to say no, but that's kind of nice. I wasn't straight up asking. Wow, that was fast. Well, thanks, Dom Tough. Thanks there, Inspector Bear. I don't want to say your real names out loud if you don't want to. I like the amount. So, okay, here from Inspector Bear. That's pretty cool. Hey, old boy. And he sent me $3.33. And then Dom saying thank you for saying thank you for my contribution to the fantasy football. He said, hey, Ro. So I appreciate that, guys. You have been honored for your support. Always appreciate that. That's very kind. All right, so I got, yes, you are Miss Kikya. Say I'm catching up with the your chats here. You said you're a woman of your word. Let's see here. Smoosh that. That's very nice, guys. Yeah, the prank was awesome. The prank thing that they did on Sven Computer was pretty well done. I BDB some pants. Yes, Sven is still on Twitter, but his new Twitter handle, Sovereign, is that was Sven. At that was Sven. So he's still out there. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what I've heard too, that Sven's visa hadn't gone through. There might have been stuff to do with that. Yeah, Kiki were saying something about like that. You have to, yeah, it costs a lot to be able to do that. And this whole business, like that, people are suggesting the hashtag that he threw up. Let's see here. There's some sort of hashtag that that Sven threw up in during a show. It was like a little card he just put up there. Dom, you don't have to do that. Thank you, man. That's very kind. Now, what does Dom tell me? Dom sent a message. Missed a 7, but 1776 will commence. Make the frogs gay again. You're trying to send me $17.76. Why not just send the remainder? You can just do that if you really were compelled to. Then you're sending me more than I sent you. So that's kind of like ridiculous. $1.76 is fine. Thank you. That's kind. Again, I'm not going to stop you if you're convinced you're going to do it. So, no, don't send me money, but okay, send me money. You know, it's like that, right? Got smoking crack and beating dudes up with bullets. Sven Computer's new handle. That was Sven. Yes, thank you, Kick. Yeah. Yeah, so Kick, maybe you can say something to that. What do you mean that the visa went up from 32K to 60? Like how much they have to be earning in whatever job they're here doing? They have to have a minimum of some such amount of money if they're coming from Germany. Is that what you mean? Okay, cool. That's really weird. Like, I don't know. Is that so? That's like the stipulation of being okay. Hang on a second, because we have a lot of H-1B visa holders here. I gotcha. I understand, and maybe that's the deal. I got you. I got what you're saying. Yeah, that's like doubling, man. That's insane. Hmm. Well, um, yeah. So I wonder if it wasn't really. That's what I was going to try to say. If I wonder if the whole thing with Sven might really be that like he asked for more money, but Steven's like, well, when you asked for it, and maybe came in, he demanded it. You know, maybe that was the mindset. I don't know what happened there, but like I really was not inclined to believe that it was as simple as Sven putting up that hashtag saying Steven Crowder is a liar or hashtag SCIAL and doesn't pay his employees or DPHE. Like, I don't know if that's for real or not. Um, I don't know. The more I think about that, the more I'm wondering if like that could be the case. But I really feel like there's more to it. But at the same time, after watching Steven's speeches at the end of some shows, like they've really got to be gaming it if they're doing something, you know, that's like a setup for him to infiltrate, you know, a leftist organization or something like that. Because that seemed the most probable to me, like something Crowder Show would do. And so they're really playing the long con with us. That's kind of my thought, but maybe it is just that simple in this situation. You know, I really thought about it as being like um, something weird, you know, something underhanded and something complex, and maybe it's really just as simple as it sounds. There's cases where that's very easily going on. Um, if we get illegals out, it'd be so bad that they are here. But it's good for Americans. Yeah, I think that's probably the case there, Honky. Good to see you, by the way, Honky Bear. Let's see here. What are we doing now? Wow, we got 12 up in here. That's very cool. So let's take a roll here. Let me see. There's Dom, Sovereign, Honky. There's Kick Your Best and Inspector. There's Steve. There's Shayla. And there's Kodiak. That means there's at least 3 people in here. Unless there's Andrew. I missed Andrew. So there's 2 people in here at least that are not logged in. My thoughts are that one of them is probably a guy I know who's a good guy, but a guy I know who happens to play guitar. And do consider him a friend. I suspect he may be checking some things out. Possibly my mother, but I would think she'd be signed in if she were here. 2 or 3 people, yeah. It's Sven. Yeah, BDB's mom might be in here. It's possible. But yeah, I don't think they're logged into YouTube while watching, so they're just quietly in the background. I do that though. I go to people's things and I don't say much because I'm just watching. Dom's mom, hey, Homemade. So maybe it's just one person since Homemade's here, unless the numbers went up. Yeah, Homemade, you're new. You put the numbers up. So yeah, I don't usually either because I know he's not going to see it, you know, unless it's super chatted. Kick you. So I agree. Good to see you, Homemade. Glad you could join us. So I was also thinking, you know, in relation to this whole KISS theory, just keep it simple, stupid stuff. I often have thought, nice, Kodiak. I've often thought throughout my time in the military I've had the K.I.S.S thing, keep it simple, stupid, suggested to me a lot of times, and it does work a lot. It's very useful. But at the same time, more and more, like with some of the bigger issues going on in the day, especially when it relates to me, accomplishing things that I want to accomplish. I think that it applies, but I think, how would I say this? Keeping it simple, stupid doesn't mean that you get to absolve yourself of thinking, right? I think I believe that you have to. Hey, I'm glad to do it. Keeps my kids eating. The best answers. Thank you. I appreciate that. In fact, the best answers. Don't run away here. You're moving up in the chat. I'm trying to catch you. Let's see. Go to Best Answers channel. I try to go to all y'all's channels and subscribe, ticking the bell icon. So yeah, I am now a fan of yours, buddy, or budette, either one. I'm gonna look at Dom's video real quick because I can do that without like shutting off the stream, which is nice. So I'm using headphones to listen, whatever this is. I don't know if it'll come up or not while I'm streaming. Should. Do you hate it when this happens? Is it really just 23 seconds of that? Wow. Wow, Dom. Okay. So that happened. It was just a dude in a recliner, an older guy, and it says, "Do you hate it when this happens?" And he's got a bowl of popcorn or something, and he flips the recliner back, tosses the whole thing out the window, breaks the window. That was what happened. I for some reason expected more, but see, Dom's engaging the keep it simple, stupid principle there. It's like, hey, all I need is a dude tossing a bowl of popcorn out the window to be happy. That's it. That's what I gotta have. And in some ways, that's great because you've got that childlike innocence about you. But then again, we all know that you have no childlike innocence. There's nothing childlike or innocent truly about you. Maybe childlike, but not innocent, right? Yeah, I'm sure they do. I have no doubt. All right. I'll pull up Honky's YouTube video. Bad Grandpa. Thanks for subscribing, The Best Answers. What are they doing? That's totally Johnny Knoxville. Yeah, I guess Johnny Knoxville got thrown through a window. That was a little bit funny. That was mildly amusing. Oh no. The chat's all like reset. What's going on with that jazz? That ain't right. Well, hang on. Okay, it's back. It was just being a poop head. Hang on a second. Yeah, I said poop head. I'm 5. But I can goof on myself for it. Yeah, so thanks for that one, Honky. You're right. He did go take an entire what do you call that? Like I don't even know what you call those things. Storefront ride, I guess. Took a storefront ride rocket ship through a window. That's impressive. Simple, stupid. Yep. Let's see. That's the part he's got going. That's for sure. Wow. Homemade. I didn't know that about Weatherman Bear and his enjoyment of maleness. Let's see here. Hang on, I'm just reading back over. Johnny K. What about Johnny K? Poop it's a claim. Johnny K. Oh wow. Let's see here. I don't know Weatherman Bear. I'd have to get to know, I guess, or should I? Let's see here. Well, maybe he does. Maybe that happens, or is it a she? I'm sorry. Did I misgender him? I've lost them. I usually do. I lose me too. Yeah, that beautiful lady's here. She's taking her mom to church, and then I'm going to go pick her mom up later. Um, she's a beautiful lady. Yeah, she's allowed to squirrel me. Absolutely. So, at any rate, where was I going with all this? I was massively squirreled by watching other people's videos. Um, all weathermen are fluffy here in New York or really old guard. Interesting. Huh. What kind of dog do I have? I have three. Best answer. Or she and I have three. We have Chunk, who is a Mastiff Rottweiler. He's a big bruiser, and I'll get them on screen one of these days. Then we've got Gita, who's a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix with a little bit of pincher in there, a little bit collie, we think. And this is based on DNA tests. Then there's Gerby. She was here, and then suddenly I don't see her. You in the kitchen, Gert? There you are. Yeah, they're all sleeping. They've had their food, so. So yeah, Gerby is a mixture of a whole bunch of things. We call her our Heinz 57 puppy. I'm just looking at my wife getting into the chat, like she knows everybody now. Steve, cracking me up. Oh, you hear a big dog in the background snoring? It's probably Chunk. He's a noisy dog. Yeah. There's the Chunkster. He's a napping. Chunky puppy. Chunk. Chunky. What are you doing? This is not listening to you. Oh man. Yes, he is, and he's glad to be. That is his way. Do you see that, dear? You see how he ignored me? We've got to train that boy. Actually, no, he's doing exactly what he should do. Oh, and they're off. They heard a noise in the backyard, so all three of them made a beeline out the back door. That's kind of funny. All right. So keep it simple, stupid. I don't always think that you can apply this principle in situations without engaging your thought a little bit. When I was a kid, I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. And, I definitely still exhibit a numerous amount of symptoms from that and have to deal with that every day. But there were people who didn't comprehend it, didn't comprehend what it was to deal with that kind of thing. And so their answer to me was, well, why don't you just, do your homework, and get it done? Like, thank you. That's a wonderful thing for you to say. Like, why didn't I think of that sooner? Right? And if it was as simple a situation as just do this, then that would have happened numerous times over, because it's not fun watching your grades go down as you continuously don't turn in homework assignments because you didn't finish them, because you're failing to budget your time effectively and complete things. Like, it's massively maddening to repetitively hear that from people, and not know how to articulate yourself. Like, okay, how do I get at the situation? You don't even know where to start. That's just an impetus to do something, right? If you recognize as you go down the road that the problem lies deeper than that, but you haven't fully executed how to, or haven't worked out how to move through a problem, you know, like that. In the case of us ADDers, and I think for most of us, children, relax. I think Gerby's trying to wrestle with Chunk. They were trying to go through the door at the same time. She wasn't particularly pleased. Well, don't try to go through the door at the same time as your brother. That's not how it works. He's 90 pounds. You're 36. Do the math, Gerby. Come on up here. No, get out of my bowl of food. Child. No, it's not for Chunk either. Now, there's Gerby. For those that haven't seen her. She's a good dog most of the time. Yogurt thief. And there's Mr. Chunk. Say hi, bud. You're on the show. You're the big dog on the show. Oh, boy. He likes it. I'd show you Gita, but she's in an indecent position at the moment, cleansing herself. What am I high? No, dogs can't math. That's true. But they can certainly figure out that one dog is bigger, one dog is smaller. I think they have the ability to gauge that. You probably do math better than me, and I've got no problem so saying. Not all dogs can't math. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I guarantee you math better than me, and it's all good. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, Steve. I waited. See, now she's safe, right, Gita puppy? Gita, hi, puppy dog. You took a doggy. Gerby says, "No, I'm on the stream. I'm your dog. You should love me. It's my stream. My stream." Yeah. I know. Hi. Good to see you. Okay. Everybody wants to be in the stream now. Hold on. Hashtag my stream. All right, Gerby. Yes, Dom is. I have no doubts about Dom's nerdophilishness as well. Oh, it's your mother. She's back. That's what that noise was. Yes, dogs can perceive dominance. I would agree. Did you, dearest? Did you see them jump into my stream there?
What? I went down the hill and lost you.
Oh. All right. So, hey, Mayor, you did make it. I ramble long enough to let more people get here. And I hope that the relaxed attitude, the not getting to my points right away, is something that people enjoy about this stream. If you don't, and you would like me to just get to my points a lot more quickly, I'll find ways. But I figure keeping a balance, well, both a little column A and column B, is not a bad thing because it allows me time to think about the best way to talk about some of these ideas. The drums on Coltrane's Spiritual, live from the Village Vanguard. All right. That's a request from Honky Bear. Tell you what, that's a great idea. Any requests should go into the comment section of the video, if at all possible. I'm copying and pasting this into my notes file real quick so that I remember it. Because I'm thinking about it right now. But normally, if you can put them into the actual comment section of the video, then I won't lose it in the chat. I lose things in the chat a lot. Okay, there we go. I saved that one. Let's see here. I'll work on that one. If you edit the video of reading Dom's stuff, then the video would be 2 minutes long. That's awesome. That's pretty darn funny. All right. You just got the notification? Wow. That's ridiculousness, Mayor. All right. So I could edit the stream and shorten it to a regular video format. That's true. And let people get like the main points out of it. That's pretty funny. Dom, karate ain't nerdy. Gaming is. Oh. Yeah, I think they're weighted. I definitely think they're weighted. If you pay, maybe they'll get to people more easily. YouTube's only going to give you so much for free because they're socio-capitalists or whatever you would call it. I believe in socialism, but not really. Democratic socialism doesn't exist. Not a thing. But you can have fun and think that it is. That's too funny. All right. So, yeah, I had those troubles as a kid trying to get things done. And when the only answer was, we'll just do it. Like, that didn't help me attack the problem. And I think this is true for a lot of people who have a cognitive issue with trying to just accomplish things. Some people do just do it in a sense, but they work out like a step-by-step plan to make it happen. Like, if you want to get out of debt, you don't just say, well, just do it. You have to actually know what you're going to do. You have to visualize that plan step by step, right? Because if you don't have a plan, you're going to fall back into the same habits that you naturally do. You have neural pathways that have been sort of carved out by repetitive action in habits that are not productive for you. So you have to unlearn those habits and apply new ones, right? And some people could just be saying, well, I don't want to think about the process, but that maybe don't have to deal with the issues that someone such as myself does. And I don't blame them. I don't necessarily like to think about them either. But in order for me to accomplish anything productive, I do have to work out a process. Now, see, that's a double-edged sword, right? To work out a step-by-step plan to attack a problem where you have to activate certain motivational centers in yourself to accomplish the tasks you need to. If there's not a strong motivation behind you in accomplishing a task, then you're not going to do it, right? It's not going to rank itself up in the priorities. I am a little bit going Peterson on you. So knowing that, you have to work out a step-by-step process. But if your enemy is already sitting down and doing like specific by rote things, and tedious tasks like that, then now you've not only got to develop a motivational center and plan to get the original task done, you have to develop one to get the delineation of that first task done, right? So it's kind of like this vicious cycle. And you have to get yourself, it starts with tiny little habits, right? I fully admit I have not spent enough of my time developing the little habits that would lead me to success. I've had all this time in my youth. I'm always telling my students, work on habits now while you're young and you have time. Work on practice and such like that now while you're young and you have time, right? And you can have the time to not only do that, but develop the habits that will keep you doing it when you get to my age, right? You're just going to see in so much better shape if you do the things now that I didn't do when I was younger. If you learn how to articulate exactly what you need to do when you come in for a practice session. Like for me to practice things, I really do use the ninja practice method that I learned from my buddy Harold. He told me 5 minutes at a time gets it done, working out songs. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes it ends up being bits and pieces that I do. I get a gig or something and it's going to come up soon. I have a handful of songs I got to learn. I'm going to do it by listening. There's some cases where I rarely have time or I rarely make the time to sit down at a drum kit and actually play through a set of songs that I need to work on. Like the Aristocrats gig did not sit for at least a good couple of weeks at a drum kit because I'd been gone in Alaska. Didn't have a kit out there. I listened occasionally to some of the tunes that I knew we'd be playing and kind of got familiar with some of the flows of those. But I really came to that gig with what I had, just whatever's up there. I got to be engaged, listening, watching. I have to use those skills, right? And so actually sitting down at a drum kit, working some of those things out wasn't how I prepared for that gig. Would it be nice if that's what I was doing every day? Yeah, it probably would help me grow in some other areas of my playing that I can't grow in right now, or I'm not growing in well right now. But in order to enact that type of practice, I have about 50, I'm not even exaggerating, like 50 other things that need to happen before I even get to do that, right? And I haven't done the work to get through those other 50 things yet. So a consistent sitting down at my kit and working those things out in the traditional by rote way probably isn't going to happen as often, right? I would love it if these things were just simple and they just happen. But for me to do that and just say, well, I'm just going to do blah, 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 that means I have to drop a whole bunch of other things that are also valuable, right? In order to consistently have an effort day after day to attack certain stuff. It would mean that I would abandon certain other things. And I'm not prepared to do that. What I am prepared to do is build on the habits that will get me into the place of planning better. And I have to start at ground zero with that, because if I try to start at step 10 in learning how to plan out, structuring a motivation for me to accomplish a task that I don't work through well, on just whatever raw emotion, then I have to start. If I start at step 10 as opposed to step 1, I'm going to fall off the horse within a couple days at best. There's some things where I've been able to get myself into the habit. They've been a little less complex, and I've been able to make myself consistently do for quite a while now. Like, I can't believe that I've sat down and live streamed with you guys virtually every day. I've only had a couple of hiccups here or there where I'm like, look, I can't do it today, or even I couldn't do it in my normal time in the morning. I tried to reschedule for an evening thing. But that's been happening consistently, and that's huge, because that's been helping me develop consistency in another area of life, and communicating with you guys, building interactivity with this community. And as I have more musical things, more educational things that I want to share, I'll have people that, are already connected and want to hear about that, and then can share that with more people. So, Armenians here, good to see you. Yes, exactly. Sovereign, you have to conserve time and action. You're exactly right. Because if I don't, it's haphazard everywhere. I have too much that I'm already invested in to not learn how to conserve my time and action. I'm glad, Debbie. I'm glad it's something useful. I wasn't planning on delving into it like this. I just knew, there's a situation where I've been behind on something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I had a discussion with a buddy of mine last night about this, where we were kind of trying to hold each other accountable to do it, and to like write out a certain piece of music and get some of the specifics structured out. And I haven't kept up with that. Oh, you should, Kikia. Please do. I've missed it thus far. I've been looking elsewhere. Yeah. Sitting in a class chair is really difficult. It's so frustrating. Oh, Kikia. Let me answer that real quick. Very interested. She says, I'm very interested to understand how you moved from ADD to now. Did you just grow out it, or did music help you? I haven't grown out of it at all. I'm still deeply in it. That's what I'm trying to say, is that no, I'm still deeply immersed in ADD. Deeply. Say that again, dear.
You're not pointed at me, are you?
No, ma'am. It's just my side. There's no camera on the side of the computer. Once again, my wife didn't bring her clothes to the bathroom, so she wants to make sure I don't get her in a towel on camera.
Why are you barking at me naked?
It might be the light. I don't know.
Uh-huh. I said deeply.
You said what? Deeply? I missed that part. I wasn't sure what you'd said for sure. Yeah. But yes, I am deeply ADD still. My wife wanted to make sure that you had corroboration on that point. They say hi to you again, by the way. Yes, kids are kids. You're absolutely right. However, we have, so what is one of the causal factors of ADD symptoms, as I understand it? Largely overstimulation, right? Of both the auditory and visual senses, so that you're producing more dopamine in your brain, as well as other stimulating chemicals, than you normally would, right? We're in a society where we're exposed to things, devices that help to overproduce dopamine in our systems. And so our reward system in our body is totally out of whack for any long-term achievement, any long-term goal that we want to achieve. That being able to wait until we've accomplished this task and then getting a mental like dopamine release as a reward for having done that is like a delayed gratification idea. It's broken in a lot of people, including myself. So I know that. I'm well aware of that. Excuse my ear, itchy there. I'm not sure why I'm wearing these because I'm not hearing anything. There's not a whole lot of point. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm getting to that kick. Yeah, absolutely. I've learned to cope with some things. Well, hang on. Let me finish my thought on the thing about the physiology of ADD. We have this out of whack dopamine reception and delivery, like an overabundance of it. So, and ADD symptoms manifest, or ADHD, as some people would say, the hyperactivity version. I think I had less of the hyperactivity side. I know plenty of people that have much more of it. But there's an overproduction of the dopamine and a sensitivity in the receptors at times. So different methods have been tried to regulate that for people. Different pharmaceuticals that I went through 4 different drugs to try and do that as a kid. Ritalin, dexedrine, clonidine, and desipramine were 4 different medications that I went through on that. And all yes, Gita, it's your mom brushing her teeth. That's all it is. Relax. I know it's difficult. Gotta see. So what just happened there is relevant to what I'm talking about, but let me get to it. So I'm trying to stay in some sense of order here. So yeah, you have those physiological issues to deal with. And then the ADD symptoms or ADHD symptoms can manifest. I did look like that. Can manifest in a variety of ways. It's not always just ADD or ADHD simple. You could be connected with OCD. It could be connected with Tourette syndrome. It can be connected with a ton of different other issues or symptoms from those types of things. It's happened to plenty of people. And I think there's a combination of different chemical overabundances or sensitivity and reception of those chemicals mentally. So you're dealing with that imbalance, and there's people that have tried to regulate it. Honestly, diet's probably one of the better ways to help with that. And at times I've tried different things diet-wise, or my folks had me try different things diet-wise. Exercise is a huge factor. Thank you for reminding me of that, beautiful lady. All right. I'll do this for Steve because Steve's such a good guy. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. There. Are you happy now? And I can get right back to where I was. See, that's one of the strengths, Kikia, that I've gained. I have learned to cope to some degree. I'm aware of the issues that I face. I can see where I have struggle. I can see where I have problems. I can take squirreling now, and then I can recover from it, usually because I keep in my mind somewhere there's an ultimate destination that I'm headed toward. Sometimes I get completely lost. I've watched some of my older streams, when I've watched yesterday's, and I'll have something I'll talk about, and I'll forget that I spoke about it and never come back to it. I think I talked about something the other day where I started toward the beginning to speak about something and then came back to it right near the end. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to talk about this because that was the whole idea. I was going to mention this. But at any rate, so I had this thing with my, all throughout school. I'd struggle. Like my folks pulled me out of high school in my sophomore year because I was drowning grades wise. I wasn't getting homework done. Would get zeros on those assignments, and my grades were abysmal when my IQ's much higher than that result would show, right? And I know that. Yeah, no Adderall for me. I am not an Adderall guy. Tom is my ADD sensei. Yes, Mayor, you're absolutely right. Motivation. Mayor says, I noticed I was able to pay attention very closely when there were consequences to not paying attention. Yes, the military's been great for that. The military was a great help in a lot of ways because you had drill sergeants in your face threatening physical exertion, push-ups, sit-ups, overhead arm claps, the cherry picker where you got to have your fingers stretched all the way out and you're just doing your fingers like that. I'm trying so desperately to balance this laptop and do my visuals, so at any rate, yeah, military was helpful. I before I did that, I spent maybe a handful of years at Illinois Central College trying to do things there, and I failed a class or two. I wouldn't go to some once in a while, and that was unwise because I would hang out with people and say, "Oh, you don't have to go to every class." And you didn't have to go to every class. You weren't responsible to do that. Like they were going to mark you off if you didn't. There was attendance involved, but you could not do it and still pass classes. And so I struggled with that. But eventually I got out of all that. I never got an actual associate's at that time and went into the military to support a family. I figured this is going to be my career. I got married and said, yep, military time. That's what I'm going to do. I saw my brother-in-law do it. And I thought that's what I want to do. I want to get into that. And got a lot of amazing experiences out of that. Came out and did the Air National Guard. And I went into being an Air Force cop for 6 years. Like, why in the world would I ever get it in my mind that being an Air Force cop was a good idea for me? Many people that I worked with probably asked the same question. And we still all agree, yeah, it wasn't a great fit for you, but I gained so much out of it. I'm so grateful for all those experiences. My ability to pay attention over a broad range of things is massively heightened, more so since I left working there. My confidence level shot way up too. I can get pretty pissed off. You don't know me at my worst, Inspector. Yeah, I can be a real jerk. But again, what we have to do on an air guard base is, not so much law enforcement as much as it is security. So I can do what I'm told sometimes by authority figures. Once in a while, I managed to do that, and I got to carry guns, which was fun. That was always cool, and a taser. And that's not information you can't find out on the internet with one Google search. But yeah, it was fun. By the way, when you're new at a job and you're given an expandable baton, don't, when you're in your alone time, think that you're going to practice your Filipino martial arts skills by yourself at your post, because you'll invariably end up hitting yourself in the head. And it'll probably get captured on video camera. And you'll get razzed about it for the next 6 years you work at that job. I'm just saying, hypothetically, that could be a problem for some people. Don't let that be you. Yeah. Modern examples of my attention deficit, coping and failures. How would I say that? Or still struggles. Let's put it that way.
Love you.
I love you too, beautiful lady.
Have a good day.
You too. I'll go get your mom here once I'm done.
Okay, good.
10:15? Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably finish up in about 5:10 here. And still let Fred's baton alone. Yes, you're exactly right, Honky. Just here in Illinois, best answers. I just did it here in my home state. Wasn't active duty in that. It was active Army, but not active Air Force. Yeah, I'm aware of my issues. I'm aware of the fact that I have problems, right? I'm aware of the fact that I have difficulties accomplishing long-term tasks or even short-term tasks that are more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Mundane, repetitive. I have trouble doing things that are a little more complex, that require more planning to accomplish them effectively. Yeah, it can be a difficulty. Any kind of effort that's a sustained effort over long periods of time and requires consistent repetition day after day to accomplish it effectively and get better, I struggle with that. But I'm aware that I struggle with that. So I take efforts to deal with it in certain areas of my life. Now, buddy of mine and I, we had said we were going to transcribe a section of certain jazz songs. And we talked about this months and months ago, if not longer. And I never really got anywhere on any of them. Honky. Oh my goodness. Yes, that joke came up more than once. Let's just put it that way. Yes. Let's see here. I'm going to survive this squirreling. It's going to happen. What's up with the grandma? What are you talking about? Oh my goodness. Anyway, big baton bear. Yeah, I'm almost totally derailed now. Thanks so much. Oh my goodness. All right, so my buddy and I had this plan to transcribe stuff from certain jazz songs because transcription does make you a better musician. It can help you understand what you're listening to more rapidly and how to think of it in the perspective of written music, right? It's a useful skill. We've been encouraged into that by our mentors. And so we were going to get to going on this. I have yet to carve out time in my day consistently to achieve that. Now, I wanted to talk with him about this last night, and I told him, when he brought that up, I said, I haven't cared enough about it. I haven't been motivated enough to take care of that. It hasn't been high enough on the priority list, and I know it hasn't been. I'm aware of that, but I want to discuss it in a sense to try and figure out a plan to properly motivate, right? And that was really key for me because I could see the problem. I could see where it hasn't occurred yet. But yes, I can. I can't believe I admitted that on the internet. That's great. But I, live out loud. Let your mistakes be seen. It might as well. I have plenty of them. Right. Oh man, you'd think I could. Man, you guys are still stuck on that. That's so funny. That is so funny that that's still in the minds here. Oh, that's dominating the chat right now is the baton bit. So nevertheless, I'm going to carry forward with this like super important part about the K.I.S.S thing, right? The mentality that I think my buddy wanted to have, because it's unpleasant to try and think of it. And from his mind, he thinks, well, you just muscle up, you just engage that willpower and you make something happen. You just decide it has to become important enough. I've watched enough situations in my life where I've had huge motivation. I've had huge reason, if you will, like understanding it here to do certain things, right? That in and of itself doesn't make the thing happen several times. Like repetitively in my life, I've said, I'm just going to do this. Hasn't happened. Hasn't been a sustained effort. To just say at one moment, is not saying it at every single moment over the course of days, weeks, months, right? That's not what causes you to sustain motivation, right? You have to, at the outset, have a decision made, a working through of how you are going to sustain motivation over the long term. Because what I say now is not going to be how I act an hour from now, a day from now, right? I have to make a decision that I'm going to engage in that. I've had this problem where I've had conversations with people, right, about wanting to work with them later on and giving them a business card or talking to them or something like that. If I don't write down their name right then and there in the thing we talked about, it will be out of sight, out of mind, short time after that, and I will get inundated with other stuff I will forget, not because I wasn't interested, right? But because I was genuinely interested and I genuinely cared about what they had to say. But the realities of life dominated and took over, and they will do that. They will do that invariably. I know that now. And so I've attempted to enact as a habit, as much as humanly possible, write stuff down or just tell Siri, hey, Siri, put a reminder in my phone for this, and try to make that happen, right? As much as I can. And I try to push that further forward every day. So that's one more tactic, right, that I've developed in how I overcome my stuff. It's little things as I go along the way. There's books that I've read, and books can be helpful. Usually the books aren't as helpful to me. I can listen to them on tape or the Audible stuff, and that's great. But I need to physically do. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. I have to do in order to incorporate, right? That's usually how it works for me. I have to listen a lot too. Oral learning is a huge thing for me. So kinesthetic, like doing, physically doing, and then oral learning are big ones for me. Visually, I can take a lot of stuff in, and that's, to some degree, that's reading, and so I do that, but I don't do it as well. Like I'm not going to sustain that effort. I did some great reading yesterday while I was waiting for my oil change. For those of you who haven't heard of this, and this directly relates, there's a book. Maybe it indirectly relates. I don't know. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? And it was written back in the 30s. Guy named Napoleon Hill. He was inspired by Andrew Carnegie to write a book of success, like a primer for how to be successful in any endeavor you seek to take on. And one of the things that Carnegie told him was, he got a chance to tell him about this, and the guy said, okay, great, but if you do it, write about failures as well. You need to write about failure just as much as you do success, because that will give you a complete picture. You have to understand failure, right? You can't just fail. You can't just have failures like, well, I learned from that. You actually have to understand why you failed and how to not do the same thing again in order to be successful. And if you want to not do your own failures as much, learn from other people's failures, right? That's the whole lesson from Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. Learn from the wisdom of Solomon. Solomon's trying to teach his kids. Did they really get it? Well, they ended up having a civil war between each other that tore the nation in half, or more than in half. It was more of like 10 tribes in the north, and then they got 3 more down in the south that are loyal. And really, you had some of the Levites that went north. So it's kind of like 9 and 3, 9.5 and 3, or whatever, 2.5. There you go. How's that? Right. Let's see here. I need reminders so much. I never did before, but all the kids confused the heck out of me. My doctor wrote, oh, wait. His hands and arms because he had ADD. In the unabridged version now. There have been so many edits to the original books. Are you talking about the Bible? Kick you? Was that what you were referencing with the unabridged thing? Yeah, I think I'll see what you say in a minute. I thought you were talking about the Bible. At any rate, no, Think and Grow Rich. Yes, I agree. And you can get that. They have the unabridged, unedited on YouTube. You can listen to some places. If I see a link for it, I'll try to throw it up in the comments later after this video finishes. But definitely worth listening to. I was looking at chapter 11 for the first time because I've wanted to read that. I still haven't finished the entire book yet. I've read pieces and bits of it here and there because sitting down and reading a sustained effort is difficult. Listening, I'd have to listen to it a handful of times to really get it in my mind. Yeah, I agree. The best answers, and we could have conversations about that too. I have recently, and maybe I'll talk about that again. That's another one of my my favorite pastimes, is talking about ancient Hebrew and viewing the Bible through the lens of the people who were chosen to pen it down in the first place. That's a huge deal. Yeah, power of positive thinking is a useful one. Some of the principles in that I think are seen in Think and Grow Rich. But chapter 11 was called The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, right? And you're like, what the heck is that? It sounds like Ninja Turtle Whoopee or something going on here. What the heck is this? So the mystery of sex transmutation, what it really means is the energy and power that many successful geniuses have experienced in being motivated by sexual stimulation, right? By the allures of a woman in their life, or in cases of women, by a man in their life. It does work the other way around. A bib drum. I didn't know there was such a thing as a bib drum. Where do you see a bib drum, Mayor? I'm not sure. My title for this video. Did I really do that? What is a bib drum? A bib drum is me waking up early and, or not that early, waking up and well, I'll just fix it in post, I guess. That's me misspelling. That's what that is. Yeah, I don't see it right now because I can't see where the titles are, but I'll see it when the video finishes, so I'll just have to go back and fix it. Yeah, the G and the I are like at opposite ends. Or wait a minute, the G and the B. Yeah, they're right. The G and the B are right next to each other. That's why. Like the B is like right beneath the G, pretty much, and just slightly to the diagonal right. So yeah, that's an easy slip. I figured it did. I've done that. At any rate, yeah, I just took that problem and I deduced exactly where the slip happened, right? So I could think through visualizing that problem and zone in right to, oh, that's how I missed that. Right. That kind of thinking is super useful, right? This is kind of what I'm talking about with some of the thinking through your problem and figuring out how to not do that next time. Now I'll know, hey, watch out, that B's right next to that G, and you've done bib bear before, so bib drum bear, don't do it again, because you're not a baby eating with a cloth over you to not spill, though you probably should sometimes. The mystery of sexual transmutation. A lot of people have been there's been a lot of people out there that have been real successful, real genius people in our history that had a high sex drive. Like they were highly motivated by that. Now, the suggestion in that chapter by Hill is that you want to take that energy that you derive from being stimulated in those ways, visually or orally or by sense of smell. When one of your senses awakens that energy within you, that is a point at which you have the capacity for creative endeavors, unmatched to almost any other motivation, right? Men get extremely creative with the hopes of potential for a sexual encounter. They do. They get massively creative and productive with the hope of that possibility. I can attest to this personally. They will set themselves at their very best to hope that a woman will reciprocate their efforts, and I should say reward their efforts with seeking to engage with them, right? And so yeah, we'll go to great lengths. It's a very strong motivational factor. Yeah, don't do that. That's exactly right. Kick you. They don't, do their business solo before a game, because that energy, right, that you have stimulated by sex, if you learn how to refocus that and put that in another area, right, refocus those energies and be motivated otherwise, you can still use that energy to accomplish great things. If you allow it to simply be output by the physical all the time, then you're going to miss out in utilizing those energies for amazing endeavors. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't, right, engage like with your wife or husband. I think it's a great thing to do if you can. I'm a big fan of that in the marriage bed, so to speak. I think that's a good place for it. I think it's one of the best places for it. Doesn't mean I hate on people who don't do it that way. You got to work that out, figure out what you believe is the case. But I share openly that is my view on that. I am most happy engaging it, that drive in that way. At least when I release physically with my wife, it's like the receiving of affection back, emotionally is huge, right? And I feel like I could accomplish anything when I receive that return of love from my wife, if I were able to take that energy and focus it on and use it as a motivational tool to accomplish other things in my life when I'm energized in that way. who knows what I could do, right? And that whole chapter talks a little bit about how people have learned to harness that energy and utilize it for other purposes, and not just outputting that energy physically, because we're a system that's been created, right? You put matter into us for sustenance, you're going to get the garbage back out, right? Garbage in, garbage out, that old computer adage. And it's, I think, the same for energy, that energy has to enter our system and be output in some other way, right? So we have to think through other methods of outputting that energy in order to be effective. It takes energy to think through that, right? Like if you want to just do KISS, keep it simple, stupid, you're never going to cross this bridge. You're never going to figure out what potential you may have, right? I've seen my potential in a number of different areas when I've engaged motivation to accomplish things I didn't want to. Plenty of times, right? I've made sure that motivation was secured for certain things. There's other areas where I have to learn how to do that because I know the motivation isn't strong. Like, for example, doing this transcription thing with my buddy. You know, I know that my motivation for that is not strong. It's like, he doesn't, how would I say that? He's not an authority figure over me, right? He's not a drill sergeant. He's not going to become one, and I wouldn't permit him to become one in that position over me. So I don't have an onus to complete that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can't serve as a motivation. Doesn't mean that I don't want to do this thing. It just means I know I don't have the motivational factor in place over coming here and chatting with you guys in the morning, or going and taking care of my mother-in-law later for my wife to help her out with stuff, or being focused on how I'm going to increase my student clientele for this month, or working out some new music that I need to get worked up, or preparing for the next show that I'm going to play. Like, those things sort of take precedence, and I'll think about them first. Part of that is that I also need to, before I need to think about, hey, I got to do this transcription, there's 100 other things that take precedence above that need to happen that would facilitate me. It'd be like investing in this other stuff would allow me to do not just one transcription in a short amount of time, but several, right? I could probably get like 10 done in a day if I organized my time and my space more efficiently to accomplish the things that I really want to. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy my effusive nature here, Sovereign. Oh no, I thought you were talking about my grandeurs or my gestures of grandeur. You're talking about to win a lady. Yes, that's important. You need to use things like that, and you will get creative that way through that energy, right? If you harness it for that, because you're motivated toward that end. But what if you could put that effort into taking that same energy and put it into other areas of life? I'm just beginning to scratch the surface of what it means to do that, and I'm highly intrigued by it, because that's a storehouse of motivation that could help me accomplish so much stuff that I struggle with every day that I don't want to do. If I could find a way to attach that motivation, I would do it in a heartbeat. I think that's important, Sovereign. Yes, it would be worthwhile if she actually loves you in return. Don't pursue a woman who's, just completely not interested in you at all, or doesn't show any inkling. Right? That's a waste of your efforts. Unless the woman somehow demonstrates that she's worth it, It is 10 a.m. You're absolutely right. And I need to go get my mother-in-law pretty soon here. Plus, I'm down to 17% battery. What? Could you take that? What? Yes, thank you. My beautiful lady reminding me that I need to get my, whatchamacallit sticker updated on my car. It's that time again. Best answers, by the way. Thank you again for subbing to the channel. Always glad to have more people. Feel free to bring in more people. Don, did you send me more money, dude? Or is that putting your two things together? What are you doing? All right, I got to read the PayPals one more time, and then I'll be out of here. But yeah, I hope that answers some things for you guys about KISS, or get some things clear on my perspective on that. Like, there's times where it's clearly necessary to use the KISS principle, and other times where you can't do that. I don't think you should ever do it without thinking, right? You need to engage your brain always. Why I say that? Engage your mind, engage your body, engage your heart. Seek to serve the ultimate purpose. You have to engage all of these things all the time. All right, Dom hooked me up again. Like simplicity. Hashtag MDGA. Hashtag BDB. Hashtag for the win. Guys, you guys are cracking me up. I love it. I'm appreciative. Thanks for the support, Dom. And, you know, keep some of that for yourself a little bit because I want you to get this football league going, man. Okay, so that's my beautiful lady just letting me know some things. Yeah, Honky Bear has a YouTube video. I'm going to put that up here for later so that I don't forget about it. Otherwise, I'll forget about it. Step Aggressively Towards Your Fear by John Jocko Willink. Well, that's something to watch later.
Discipline is your best friend. It will take.
That's got to be. That's the ownership, right? That's the ownership guy, isn't it? Extreme Ownership. Love you too, Honky Man. Absolutely. Yeah, that's set up. I'm gonna check that out for sure later. But is that who I'm thinking of? Is that the Extreme Ownership guy? Awesome. That's super cool. All right. So I'm going to go be a productive citizen and husband and son-in-law. And I love you, Bears. Today got a lot more dramatic and a lot more intense than I thought it was gonna. I just knew I had some stuff in me. And I have to say that ultimately, I don't know if Scott's still watching out there or not, but I love him. I love you, Scott, man, to death. I got upset, you know, with not being able to communicate myself effectively last night. And yeah, that happens a lot where I want somebody to understand what I mean. And I felt myself getting more upset. So I just like, I'm done throwing a fuss about this. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not having this conversation anymore. And I just hung up and I was angry. But I hate getting that way. I hate having those things happen because I love him very much. He's been a good guy a lot of times. And I don't know if he ever sees this later, he'll understand. I need to figure out what my motivational center is to accomplish something. And simply saying, well, just do it, doesn't help me get it done. It's this one of the biggest sources of frustration for me. I have to figure out how I can work through and get a step-by-step to make something like that happen. But I have like a whole bunch of other things that seriously take priority, like massively take priority. And I have to rein those things in first if I'm going to be an effective father and husband. Got to engage my mind, my heart, or my body and my heart. And I've got some steps to go on that. But I'll live my mistakes out loud as much as I can. I hope that I'll be honest and share some of those things out because accountability is a useful thing. I'm happy that I got a group that I can come to share that. So Owen's fixing to be on here. Everybody get out there and watch Owen. Have a great day. Love you, Bears. Talk to you soon. Peace.